Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another episode of More Than the Sport, Inspirational TV. I am your host, Abdul Rahim Laquan Orr Sr.
Good morning. I am your co-host, Ashley Claudio. We're so happy to have you guys join us for another morning of More Than a Sports Inspirational TV. So welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Episode 20, what we at, 22, Ash?
22? 22? Double two, that's a good number.
We moving. That's Emmitt Smith, one of the greatest running backs out there. You know, even though he's a Dallas Cowboy guy, even though that number is greatness. So 22 is representation of greatness. We are creeping up on episode 25, and we're looking to bring you guys something very exciting for that episode 25. So stay on the lookout for that, which will be next week, a week from today, next Wednesday. All right, guys? So episode 25, we expect all you guys to be online and watch it and seeing all the exciting things we're going to have for you guys next week on Wednesday, all right? All right, Ash. So, you know, typically we like to get into our breakfast talk. How was your last 2 days?
My last 2 days were okay. I just was working. You know, we're in the middle of the week, so being home doing work and mom life, you don't really get much done except that. So just home, you know, been pretty good. I can't complain. How about yourself? How's it been these past couple of days?
You know, yesterday I went out and I went fishing. That's one of my things, like fishing and riding motorcycles. Those are my two favorite things in life to do at this age. So I went out yesterday and embarked on one of them, which was fishing. And I went out. I didn't catch anything, but I had a really good time just out on the water. You know, I utilized that time to sit and really talk to God, you know, and have some conversations and just let the water kind of, you know, roll my thoughts on in. And I had a really good time. I walked about, I felt like 5-6 miles trying to find the right fishing hole. So I was pretty much exploring all the lakes up and down, you know, Delaware County and up top Philadelphia, Northeast Philadelphia. So I was all walking up and down that area trying to find me some fish. But no luck, but hopefully, you know, after we finish recording today, I know it's a late start. I'm going to grab my gear and I'm going back out there today. And I'm going to go to another spot. Yeah, I'm going to go find me another spot today and go fishing. But other than that, you know, that was it. Just kind of just did that. Wore my butt out. Came home and slept yesterday. Now we back recording, giving you guys another wonderful show. And that's pretty much been it for me, you know?
Well, that's beautiful. That's always good to connect with the earth. So it's good that you were able to go out there and do that and just have some you time. So that's dope.
Mm-hmm. You ain't never lie about that. You know? Never lie.
Yeah.
Today is Wednesday, and you know Wednesdays are, right? So today we're announcing our Essential Worker All-Star, all right? So who we got today, Ash, for our Essential Worker All-Star?
So today we want to give our Essential Worker All-Star to somebody special. Sorry about that. Somebody special to me, a very close friend of mine, one of my best friends. Her name is Latrina Collins. She is a mom from Paterson, New Jersey, and she goes out and puts her, you know, she puts her life out on the line every day, working tirelessly to provide for her home. But also during these times, she's able to be a caretaker for people who need help. So thank you for all your hard work, Latrina, or I call her Trina. We really appreciate it, and thank you. You're an all-star, so congratulations.
Yes, you are. And Trina, what you'll be receiving in the mail, you'll be getting your red and white More Than a Sport Inspirational TV. All right. Worker, right there where it says Inspirational TV, Essential Worker All-Star. You'll be getting a free T-shirt. You'll be getting your choice, which is probably going to be pink, you know, or gray. So we have, you know, our respiratory mask made by Mr. Saya Orr, and then we'll also be sending you a water bottle to stay hydrated, because keeping hydrated is very important during these times. So we'll be sending you a water bottle, and that's what you will be receiving on behalf of More Than Sport and Parents Engaging Parents for being our Essential Worker All-Star, all right? So again, Trina, congratulations.
Congratulations.
To you. And keep up the great work, and thank you for all the hard work and all the great work that you're doing out there. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Want to give a quick shout out, you know, to Parents Engaging Parents in More Than the Sport. 2020 is our year. We out here, we're coming, and we want to make sure that we always mention, you know, the good stuff that we got going on, and the two organizations that's coming together to become a conglomerate. As Altrice Frazier always talk about, it's becoming a new Def Jam of nonprofits, you know. So let's get it. You know, let's get it. You always say that. I love when Al say that. I love Al's vision. You know, it's crazy because when we were younger, he inspired me, you know, with sports. He always talked about sports and other little things, right? And then now that we're older, I'm loving his vision when he's speaking about how his vision is to take parents engaging parents and bringing more to the sport along on this ride, and just so many great things that he's visualizing. And it's allowed my vision, you know, to really get up there with his and really put the effort behind the vision, you know.
Right.
And one of the things, our topics today is talking about finishing what you started, you know.
Yes.
So as we speaking about parents engaging parents in more than sport and the vision that we have, what are, you know, let's just take a detour off topic. Let's talk about that for a quick second, you know, about what are some of the things that you see in the future for parents engaging parents.
So I definitely see us being able to come together and build leaders throughout our communities, right? So really being able to organize ordinary people in where we live, where we come from, and really fulfill extraordinary things. You know, everyone has a self-interest. Everyone
Right.
has their lane of what they're interested in, what they love to do, what they're passionate for. And that's what we're all about. We're all about, you know, finding like-minded leaders who have that passion that they would like to go after, and just moving on it. But at the same time, building on one another,
Right.
you know, building that necessary power of the people that is missing right now. And that's definitely why I've focused a lot of my time on that, because one of my main goals is to do better for my community, and build my community. And in order to build your community, it starts with the people at home. So just being able to work with people from Patterson and see what we can do to help improve our community and improve the people in our community. And it definitely starts from the youth, our babies, showing them something different, setting examples. So that's what I like look forward to finishing as I am molding myself going along every day.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And we are along the same lines when it comes to more than sport. You know, we're definitely trying to get into a place where we're growing. You know, we're up and coming nonprofit organization, and we're trying to get the word out there that we're trying to build leaders from the youth, starting with the youth, and we're trying to build those leaders through academics and sports. You know, and now that we're in partnership with Parents Engaging Parents, we're more, I won't say we're more focused on the children, but now we have understanding that the parents and the children, you know, are the most important thing when it comes to building this community, this beloved community that we're trying to build, you know, over at More Than Sport and at Parents Engaging Parents. So I'm definitely looking forward to some of the same things that you're talking about, and building some leaders, really making some changes in our community, and really allowing the things that we're doing today as we begin to set the foundation for these things to come in the future, seeing these things grow and seeing the end results, and seeing something that we started and seeing us finish it. And when we say finish it, that's meaning that we're dead and gone, because pretty much at the end of the day, you know, being a community leader or being a person that's involved with your community, your work's never done, you know. So when it's all said and done, when we're finished, you know, the congratulations and all the wonderful things that we're doing that can be seen by the work that we have done in the community is going to be our congratulations.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm definitely.
And like you said, I remember you said, I think it was for your Finish the Race episode, you have to finish the race, but not to finish, more so to celebrate and because once you finish, it gets you ready for the next challenge that you have set in your life. So sky's the limit when it comes to everything, you know, so that's good.
All right.
Yeah, so
I know, excuse me.
So yeah, so a lot of times, like when we talk, oh well, there you go. There's the ding.
We got the bell.
We got the bell.
We got the bell.
A lot of times when we talk about finishing, you know, a lot of people say finishing what we start is hard. But then again, you have to think to yourself, like, but did you even start? You know, like, did you even start the process? So what are your thoughts on that? What do you have to say about finishing what you started?
I think anytime you're starting something new, it's very exciting. The excitement's there, like, oh my God, just like with me starting More Than Sport, I was excited. I just wanted to get out there, and I started off with just wanting to do football camps back home in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And I'm like, I'm gonna do a football camp. I'm gonna invite all these kids out. I'm gonna have such a wonderful time. None of it went according to plan. I went out, spent all this money to do this football camp, right? And had like 20 kids show up, and I was like, oh my God, like, what's wrong? That's a lot. That is a lot. That's a lot compared to zero.
It's a start, exactly.
You know, but my vision, again, like I set out there for my vision to have 100, 200 kids out there, and we still have not hit that mark, but it's a process, you know. And, you know, one of the things, like I said, we start something new and it's very exciting. But some of us, we quickly lose our initial like enthusiasm, that energy that we had initially to come up with, that we came up with this thought and what we said we were going to do and how we were going to do it. We lose that at some point, and a lot of times we lose it. Well, not so much we lose it initially, but what happens is we start to run into bumps in the road. We start to run into adverse moments, you know, and those moments never tend to go the way we envisioned them to happen, right? So what happens is we start to get discouraged and feel like, oh, I can't do this. Oh man, maybe this wasn't for me, you know, but it was for you. You know what I'm saying? And you just have to keep going. And
I agree. Like, and just finding the satisfaction as you go, right? You know, because every big project has small projects within them, and you just have to be able to think about how far you've come since you got that exciting thrill of wanting to start something new. Like, what challenges have you faced? How have you adjusted as you've been through the process, as you're getting to the finish line? And then don't believe in the hype. Like, don't believe in those negative thoughts that you're coming up with. Just be able to find the satisfaction as you go along.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And what do we forget? A lot of times what we forget, like at the brainstorming stage, that's the part when you thoroughly think about the finish line. Like, you're like, yo, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to start this company, and I want to be a millionaire by the end of 2020, right? But what we forget is we forget, for one, to enjoy the process, right? But not saying, let's say for two, we forget to enjoy the process. But one, we forget to thoroughly draw out the process of how we're going to get to that finish line, how we're going to get to that $1 million, how we're going to get drafted to become an NFL player, how we're going to get to that stage to walk across that college, to walk across that to get your college degree or that high school diploma, whatever it may be. We forget about the process that we have to draw out to get to that point. And I think that's a lot of times, like I said, we all want to be successful and take care of ourselves, you know, our responsibilities, our families, et cetera, right? But we have to be willing to, for one, come up with a thorough and foolproof plan, right? And what I mean by thorough and foolproof, meaning there's going to be bumps in the road, right? But when adversity strikes, are you, in your plan, if you have something in there to help you to get your mind off of being stuck on this adverse moment, you know? And you have to thoroughly think about these type of things, and you have to be mindful and understand that, listen, there's nothing that was great just came about with no interruptions. You know, anything that's great had interruptions, and those interruptions made that person or made that thing great, because it would eventually, or not eventually, but in order for them to get to that point, they had to overcome some things, right? And that only made them a better person, only made them a stronger person, only made that a stronger business or business ideal, you know? Right. And we have to realize that, you know, a lot of things that we're going to go through is only to make a stronger person. And I take, for me, like college for me was my most stressful, overwhelming. I quit, never was a quitter, but I quit college. I was an underachiever, you know, for years. I just felt like I was being tortured, you know? And I'm like, yo, like, why me? You know, here we go again. Why me? But then, you know, what happened was I understood that I was being tested, you know, and it wasn't so much from my thoughts. Like, my mom was always telling me, Raheem, it's a test. What are you going to do? It's a test. It's just like you in class. Either you're going to pass, you're going to fail. And I'm like, well, I'm failing every test that's presented to me right now. So
and definitely, no, go ahead.
What's the next best thing I could do outside of failing? You know, I ain't got no choice but to just go ahead and just do what I got to do. And in the result of that, I didn't initially finish college when I left. I returned back to college 10 years later and got my degree, but it was like that feeling when my academic advisor, Scott Walker, called me and said, Raheem, what's up, college grad? Oh my God, just broke down crying. I was like, my mom, dad, because my parents were dead and gone now at this point. And I'm like, oh my God, I did it. I did it. And a lot of the drive for me to get to that point, to help me build that courage was, I wanted my parents to see me graduate. And they died.
Yeah.
They both, my parents died like back to back. And at that point, I'm like, you know, I still want to make my parents proud, even in their absence. So I was like, I mean, what's one of the things I can do to make my parents proud? And like finishing my college degree, you know, it was for me, but it was more for my family. It was more to set a bar for my kids, to challenge them and say, listen, daddy made it to this point. Now you got to go further, you know.
And that's always important, right? Because you always, if there aren't any external penalties with what we're setting our goals towards, like if there aren't really any real penalties or any situation that could happen that could really stop you in your tracks, sometimes like we don't make that conscious effort to actually finish what we started, you know? So, and then we kind of start getting guilty with what we're doing. Like the guilt feeling starts, you know, taking over us, and we start, you know, and then we start to lose interest, right?
Yes.
And it was important for you to finish college because you did it for yourself. Like you said, at first your goal was to do it for your parents, but it wasn't until you made it your goal. Like this is for me, right? You have to make it for yourself. You have to put anything that you do, it has to be for yourself first in order to really achieve that goal, because you have that inner purpose, right? And sometimes you find yourself losing interest, but it's not really like you losing interest. You have to look at it more so like maybe the work is getting difficult, or maybe like reality sets in and you're scared of failure or success, because you could be going down the right path and then you just give up and it's like, oh my God, it's a rude awakening. This is really happening to me.
Or you,
right?
And then you have to adjust. And we have to adjust.
Exactly.
We have to learn that. We have to learn the most important thing about life in general is that we're always going to be adjusting to something. Nothing that had the tag greatness on it came about smoothly. You know, there was a lot of bumps in the road. There was a lot of ups and downs, a lot of adversity. And those who stayed persistent and persevered through, you know, to the finish line was the ones that reaped the benefits.
Right, because no matter the circumstances, having greater perseverance will always help. It will always help in any situation, right? And I also read somewhere like there's two things when you're doing something new, right? You can either, whenever you find that interest or you have that thrill of wanting to do something new, it could either be an experiment or a commitment. Right. So what are you going to do? Like, and how are your actions within that, whatever it is, that project you're doing, whether it be, you know, your health, education, fitness, any project that you have to do, your professional, wherever you're moving towards, you know, what does it take for you to really invest? What actions does it take for you to really fully invest into that project? And is it just going to be an experiment? Is this only something temporary that I just want to, you know, sample? Or is this something that you're really going to commit to and give your all to no matter what and really make it happen? Because it can go both ways, right? Yeah. Definitely can.
All the time. What are some of the things, right, about finishing? Like, what do you think are some people's thoughts when they think about finishing? Like, they think it's easy, they think it's hard. Like, do you think that naturally people, you know, is up for the challenge, or you think that initially is like, you know, give us your thoughts?
I think it's just inevitable for people to have like negative thoughts. I mean, just because of what society has instilled in us, you know, our back is up against the wall with so many challenges that we're faced with in life. that you can start thinking negative thoughts like, maybe I'm wasting my time, maybe this is too much, how am I going to put attention to this, how is this really going to serve me, and you have to be able to step back and say, you know what, mind, you don't deserve that. Because that's your ego, right? That was our episode on ego. That's your ego trying to eat you alive, trying to take over what you have set for yourself. And then you start beating yourself up, and that energy is contagious, So you have to just like recognize it and instead just like let go of it. Let go of it, start thinking the opposite. When those negative thoughts come in, just turn it off and be like, how I'm thinking now, I gotta flip it. I gotta flip it and go this way rather than, taking it that way. Right. What about you?
I think a lot of it, I'm thinking the same long lines as you. You have to have that positive energy. You can't let failure consume you, and, I know we have one of our episodes coming up in the future, but again, we'll mention to say that because you fail doesn't mean you failed. When you fall, typically you're going to get up. If you walk on the street and you fall down, you're going to do what? You're going to get up, right?
Yeah.
So life and adversity that comes with life, when adverse moment strikes and knocks you down, you got to get back up, and you can't be afraid because you failed initially. To get back on course, You can't allow failure to do that to you. You gotta step up and be willing to, take it head on. Like as we say in football, my coaches always tell me, man, that puller, that guard is pulling, and you can't get up the field. You got to take them head on and cause a collision right in the air. It's going to help everybody else out. Well, I watch myself on film, run up the field, and I see the guard coming. And I'm like, I'm fast enough to get around him, and I'll try to go around him, and all he'll do is give me one little touch, and that take me 6 inches, right? And guess what happened? I'll miss the tackle by 6 inches. But if I would listen to my coach say, take the block head on, right, and cause a pile up, that running back got one or two things he can do. He can go the other way, or he's gonna run into me, and I'm gonna get him, And 9 out of 10 times he run the other way, my teammate's gonna get him. So I did my job, and I was effective, but you can't go around things, whatever. You just got to go through it.
Because there's two aspects to the process, right? It's the finish line and then it's the journey. So within that journey becomes lessons, like you said. Yes. So your coach gave you a warning. You chose to not listen. You experienced the failure moment. And now it's up to you to take that lesson and say, I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Right. Or you can just go ahead and do it again, right? So it's like, what do? Do you take the next, do you work on that? And sometimes it comes like, sometimes you don't realize what you're doing. I know me, like, recently, like I was driving and somebody was like, you got to stop doing that when you drive. And I was like, I never realized that that's what I did. And then as I continued to drive, I was like, man, like I really do tailgate people when I like get over, and the next thing, like I didn't even realize that when I'm merging over, like I tailgate the person in front of me. I never realized that. And in that moment, I could have been like, you just talking about my driving. No, but it's reality. Like I never realized that that's what I do. So now I'm gonna take that into consideration. And every time I do it, not on purpose, like I don't intentionally do that, but every time I do it, I'm gonna recognize I do it, and I'm gonna move forward into correcting that I guess flaw that I have, because everybody has.
I think flaws. It's a Jersey thing. I just think it's. And I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna say you guys, right? Because I haven't been a resident of New Jersey for a while, right? So I'm gonna say you guys in New Jersey. The further north you get, closer to New York, your driving etiquette goes out the window.
Yeah, and I did learn how to drive in Newark, so
Oh man, I got my driver's license at Newark, and I remember the day of my license. My mom sitting in the car. I get back in the car. My mom like, I know you failed. I said, nah, ma, I passed. She said, Raheem, I just watched you run a red light.
It's funny because when I took my test, and I know we're totally going off topic.
Yes.
My test, I totally ran a stop sign, and the guy who was giving me the test was like, I missed the stop sign, but then I stopped past the stop sign. I was like, that was a stop sign. He was like, I'm gonna give it to you, don't worry, because I stopped. I just stopped fast.
Right.
But you know, so yeah, but you know, you have to be able to, the most important aspect of this whole thing is you have to be mindful of the things that happen at the time when you're going down your path to the finish line, and be able to adjust, be able to say, you know what, this is where I'm successful at, this is what I'm not successful at, and going towards the achievement goal rather than what the failure is, right?
Correct.
So that's really important while you're
Correct.
going down your journey, your path of your journey.
Correct. That was some great advice right there. Some really, really good advice. So if a person, and we'll get close to closing out, right? But let's leave them with something for when you say a person is just so used to starting something and not finishing it. What would be some encouragement that you would give them, you know, from a personal standpoint? So say if me, right, you're talking to me and you notice, because you're a friend of mine, right, and you notice that I got all these different type of engagements going on, right? But I start this engagement here talking to A, but before I finish up with A, I'm on to B. Before I get finished with B and A, I'm on to C, and so forth and so on. And then I turn around, by the time I get to F, it's like I lost everything. And people are like, well, why me? Why I lose everything? Why does that happen to me?
Why not you?
Why
right?
not you? You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing is that, you know, before you move on to B, you should have solidified and finished everything with A. So what would be some advice, like, to give a person,
I mean,
so they're not always thinking about losing?
Mm-hmm. That's the guilt that comes in, right? That we talked about. That's the guilt that starts eating your minds alive, and it becomes mentally contagious. And then you start bringing the negative thoughts into other people around you. At the end of the day, if you really know that this is something you want to achieve, and this is what you know is going to make you happy, and you believe in it, you must continue. I mean, right. Unless it becomes impossible, right? But it's up to you. Within any commitment that you're moving towards, the only thing that could really stop you is you. Who else? Like, the only person that can stop you, the only one that can change your mind, and the only person that could really stop you in your tracks from achieving any goal that you have set for yourself is you. Nobody can stop you from doing what you want to do, right? And if you decide, okay, I'm gonna stop, that's all. Who's that? That's you. If I decide tomorrow I'm not going to do this anymore, that doesn't mean the show's going to stop. That just means I'm going to stop. Right? So it's all about what you commit yourself to and how you are persevering towards that goal, regardless. Perseverance is things that, you know, come your way, and that you continuing to go regardless of what comes your way or what may stop you in your tracks. Nothing can stop you but you. Whatever I don't remember what episode it was. I think it was the first episode, which was the why me, where I said, you know, when things come my way, I look at them as stones and I pile up and I just keep elevating to the next level because they're lessons. You know, like, that's what you have to do. You have to take the things that are thrown your way, turn those lemons into lemonade, and keep going. Don't allow it to stop you. You know, never allow anything to stop you. You have to continue. You have to go forward, because nobody's going to push forward as hard as you are. And nobody else is going to want to push forward unless you are too. It becomes, it's contagious either way. You could either become negative and say, I'm going to stop, and everybody around you stop, or you could really achieve and people around you see that and it moves them. Like, oh, wow, I'm going to do it too. I'm going to do this and I'm going to get it done. And then the people around you are starting to get those same experiences because it's contagious. Those energies are just happening.
What I would say is, and not disagreeing with you, I would agree with you 100%. I would add on to that by just saying you have to be courageous. You have to have courage, and you have to be courageous and understand that quitting is not an option. You know, quitting is not an option, and that at the end of the day, refocusing yourself back on your goal will help you and eliminate some stressful moments in the future, for the simple fact that, and the reason why I say it's going to help you, because the thought of not finishing something, that lingers and that bothers you as well. So if you want to eliminate that, make sure that you know, even though when you start something and you know it's important, it's something that's going to be beneficial to your life, just make sure that you have the courage to continue to go and to continue to start back up if you stop.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Ash, I think we gave them some really good information for today.
Yes.
As we always do, we're going to close out with a bang. So go ahead and let everybody know how we can find Parents Engaging Parents on social media and on the internet.
So make sure you follow us, Parents Engaging Parents, through Facebook. So follow us on Facebook, Parents Engaging Parents, and then also go to our website if you want to find out more about our nonprofit organization and the work that we do throughout New Jersey. You can go to parentsengagingparents.org. You can also follow us on Instagram as well, Parents Engaging Parents.
And for guys, same thing with More Than a Sport, guys. You guys can always find us at More Than a Sport on Facebook. You always can find us as well at More Than a Sport on Instagram. We have a Twitter page, which is called The New More Than a Sport. We also have our YouTube page, which is called More Than a Sport. And finally, we have our website, www.morethanesport.com. And guys, you can go on our website and you can kind of hear what's going on and see what's going on more than sports. Same thing with our social media website. We also have for Facebook, we also have the More Than Sport inspirational beloved community. If you guys want to come into the community and have a deeper dialogue about the topics that we speak on the show, or if you guys need an update on what's going on with Parents Engaging Parents or with More Than the Sport, guys, there will be information on that private page for that, and a little bit more detailed than what we would put on the regular pages and stuff like that. But it's another way for you guys to kind of engage with us.
Yes, right? And please make sure you share, like, have a watching party, all that fun stuff. Our growth is nothing without you guys, so we really appreciate your support and your love while we provide these motivational little lessons of ours that we have going on right now during these tough times. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. And again, guys, thank you. Today is Wednesday, episode 22. Episode 22. So again, guys, looking forward to seeing you guys on Friday. We will have a guest on Friday, Miss Tawanda Allen, who we will be discussing the joy of accomplishment.
Yes, right? So I'm excited.
Yeah, you guys want to hear, guys, Miss Tawanda Allen, she owns a business. And she's in the health business, right? So she has a really good weight loss plan program and supplements that you can use to help with weight loss. So she's going to really come and talk to you guys about some really good stuff on Friday. So if you're interested and you want to see a good show, we look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. All right.
Yes. Thank you, guys.